going on too? I guess not.
Hey, everybody! Here we are. It's the Jack Kirby Museum. I don't know. We've been gone for a while, but we're doing the live thing again. It's the beginning of the Speak Out series. This is it. It's what three events. This is the first one, and there'll be two more because that's what three means. and we're going to be talking about Jack Kirby's magazines that he did at DC Comics, and what happened? What's on the screen next? Oh man! Oh yeah! So here today we're going to talk about In the Days of the Mob, and we're looking forward to having Steve Sherman join us. He's not in the green room right now, but hopefully soon. And we're gonna go through all the stories that Jack told, and it'll be really it's really fun. These stories are wild, I tell you. So what's happening? Okay, so let's go back to us. And wait, where are you? Oh, there we are. Hello, hi everyone.
Hello.
So I am Rand Hoppy. I am the founding trustee, acting executive director of our small 501c3 nonprofit,
and so much
Jack
more.
Kirby, the Jack Kirby Museum and Research Center. And who the heck? What? Who are you?
I am, as the name says, Tom Kraft. I am the president of the Jack Kirby Museum and Research Center, located in beautiful Hoboken, New Jersey.
It's true. Yeah. So we've been doing some live streams for a while. I guess practically for a year now. I think since the pandemic hit, we kind of really took to the live streaming, and it's been really fun, and kind of had a really good time. Like we did that whole summer of the Fourth World. But anyhow, we'll get to that. Hey, Ruben, it's good to see you. Welcome, Stefano. Really good to see you. I've been enjoying your artwork on Facebook, and really, really fun.
Nice stuff.
Yeah, beautiful. And we've got some you're gonna just do some setup, some introductory stuff to kind of get moving, and we're still hoping that Steve will show up in the green room. So hopefully that will happen. I think I sent him the right link. But anyhow, so let's head off into the world here. Okay, here we go. So it's 1947.
It is?
Yeah, I'm telling you. And what's happening is that it's post-war, and Michael, good to see you. Thank you for your book. You killed it. Really good. Thank you. What was it? Stuntman at Harvey? Nothing. It didn't really happen. So Simon and Kirby, the Joe Simon, Jack Kirby team, they ended up over at working for Hillman, selling some stuff to Hillman. And Hillman had a comic called Clue Comics. And it was kind of just a boy adventure comic. But once it seems like that Simon and Kirby got there, they started doing crime comics, because crime comics had become a trend. Simon and Kirby did not invent them. What was it? Oh man, so much for my exhaustive research for this show. But was it Lev Gleason or what's his name, Mr. Daredevil? I'm spacing out. In the comments, please tell me where the crime comics came from. But anyhow, Simon and Kirby did some crime comics, and I think this is their first one in Clue Comics, King of the Bank Robbers, a true Clue crime story. Now, the interesting thing about this is that, oh no, not there, is that is the name of a chapter of this book, The Gangs of New York by Herbert Asbury. And that book came out in the late 20s, and it's filled with stories about the gangs. It says Steve is in the backstage. Oh man, I'm going to send Steve a different link because something's not right. Maybe I sent them the wrong link. Okay, hang on. Let me do that. Maybe I sent Steve the wrong link. Okay, Steve, we'll be with you in a sec. That's, it's a snafu. Hooray! Okay, so I'm going to invite, copy, and okay, let's see if we can send Steve this email, another email here. I sent them the wrong link. It's quite possible. I did. I sent Steve the wrong link. I'm so sorry. Steve, I sent you an email, and that is the correct link. That's my mistake. So there's the Gangs of New York with a lot of stories about the gangs of New York. And one of the stories was King of the Bank Robbers. So it makes sense that this is where they got some of their stories from. All right, so they did a few stories in Clue Comics, but then guess what? It turned into, in 1947, that right around, things were hot, and Simon and Kirby were doing things. So they said they turned their Clue comics into real Clue crime stories. And look who's on the cover. It's Ma Barker and her sons, 1947. Obviously something that that Simon and Kirby knew that story and thought it would make a great comic. So there's the mother of crime, all the way back then.
With the
here
Parker
comes Steve. Sons. Yeah, I snafu'd Steve there. We're gonna bring him in. Hang on, we'll go to people. Steve.
Hey,
Steve.
Hello.
Hey, sorry about that. That was my mistake.
That's okay. Can you hear me?
I think we can. It sounds like you have your speakers on though, not your earbuds, because I'm hearing myself.
Oh, okay. Let me turn the speakers off.
Are you listening to YouTube?
That was my mistake.
No, I'm on the headphones. Yeah, I can hear you.
It sounds like you have your speakers on though, not your earbuds, because I'm hearing myself.
Okay, let me.
Are you listening to YouTube? That was my mistake. No, I'm on the headphones. Yeah, it sounds like you have your speakers on though, not your earbuds. We'll just see if we can. We hear ourselves.
Sounds like you're listening to it on YouTube or something, on live or something.
Do you have Facebook up too, other than StreamYard?
No, I'm on StreamYard.
Just StreamYard.
Right, it's the thing.
Let's see. I've got the echo cancellation is on. Let's see.
Can you close all your browser windows except for StreamYard?
All right. So I think he's going to be working on it, because that was, it was like we were hearing the speakers, which wasn't.
Well, it sounds like he was he was listening to it on another channel at the same time.
Oh, okay. Maybe.
Because it was delayed. So.
Well, it is delayed in general. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. You're right.
Way.
You're right. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Okay. So I'll keep telling this story, and hopefully Steve will come back.
Okay. I also mentioned that Jack Kirby was born in 1917, so he actually was of a certain age when all this stuff was going on. So this was something
Yep.
that he lived to.
No, that's true. That's one of the things about the context about his interest in these stories was he knew these guys.
Yeah.
He knew these people. I shouldn't even say guys, people. Yeah, you know, they were who he grew up with. And what did he always say? It was like the easy way to grow up in his neighborhood was to become a corrupt cop or a corrupt politician or a gangster.
Yeah, the gangsters were after getting nice suits.
Right. But nobody messed with their mothers.
Yes, that's right. That goes true for every generation.
So, yes, but you know, the Hillman thing didn't last very long, and they ended up going to Prize, which they did Justice Traps the Guilty. So there's a story they did there. And I think there was one other. Yeah, Headline Comics. You can see number 23. I believe this is the first issue they did. It was just news stories or just adventure stuff. But then it turned into a crime comic with Simon and Kirby. So here's a story about Babyface Nelson that they did back in the day. And so lots of, there was a period of time where Simon and Kirby did a significant amount of crime comics. I don't know how long it went on for. But I will say this, get this book.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Because it's beautiful. If you can, find it. It's one of the latter versions of the Simon and Kirby library that Steve Saffel and Harry Mendrick worked on. And it seems like by the time they put this one out, they really knew how to make the reproduction is just beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
Harry did a great job at reproducing it.
Hey. So yeah, that was really great. So then, again, in the 50s at some point, this book came out, the story of the Syndicate, Murder Incorporated. And we're going to talk about this book a little bit later, right? But to say that, in the 50s, this book came out, and seems like that
1951 to be exact.
Chock full of info. So let's see if I'm wondering if no. Okay, so Star Trek. Star Trek, and then not soon thereafter, we had this Fantastic Four gangster story, which was pretty hilarious with the Thing. And it just seems that here's Steve coming in again. Let's see, hopefully.
Now it should work.
It does.
Yeah, he's back.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I just brought up these images of Kirk and Spock being gangsters and the Fantastic Four gangster story. So we're still not in the days of the mob, but very, very soon. Let me just. This came out in '69, and it was very popular. It was a book, not a movie. The movie was in '72, but Mario Puzo was a writer for Martin Goodman, and Martin Goodman's what would you call them? Sweat magazines or slick magazines, men's magazines, adventure magazines for men. And he wrote this book. He actually lived in the town that I grew up in, and mentions it in the book at completely random. So it just seems like a lot of this was just kind of building up to this was kind of like the first thing that showed up in like a Superboy comic that I found online in like 1971. But Steve, do you have any memories at all about like the development and the challenges that Jack might have had? with Carmine and making this thing happen?
50
It's
years
okay.
ago.
You know,
I can barely remember yesterday.
I understand. I'm with you.
As I recall, it happened pretty fast.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it happened real fast. In fact, I think Jack turned all 4 of those magazines out in 1 month.
Oh,
wow.
He was doing the comics at the time,
Yeah.
all 4 issues. Or was it 5? Yeah, 4. And he said, you know, he wanted to do something. He wanted to do dollar comics. He was trying to convince them that they should do bigger packages and get out of the, 20-cent thing. And a lot of what these magazines turned out to be were because the distributor told him what they wanted. The distributor said, well, let's do this. Let's do a crime. Let's do a horror or shocker, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
A divorce. And he said the Black community was underserved, so let's do a Black romance comic.
Yeah.
And Jack Kirby to do Black romance.
Wow.
And so he knocked him out. I think we had a week to do each one.
Wow.
Mark and I wrote one story in one night, one of the text pages.
Yeah.
I shot the cover. Jack pasted it up. It was fast. It was just very fast. And then, he wanted color. He thought it would be a nice, slick magazine in color. And then when it came out, it was just, a mess. It was a big mess.
Yeah.
And he had the second issues ready, but they just canceled it because, I don't know, they didn't even distribute them. I think Mark and I had to go all the way out to the San Fernando Valley to some bookstore. We finally found one on the stands.
Yeah.
I know Jack was disappointed. It was really good work. I mean, it was beautiful stuff. I mean, Mike inked it. And then they printed it on that blue paper, blue ink.
That was so strange.
The spirit world, yeah.
So, yeah. So,
but there was like at least the Warrens were kind of there, right? So it was like that. There was Creepy and Eerie on the newsstand. So maybe the distributor was like, like try this,
Well, I think DC didn't know how to distribute magazines.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the only magazine they had was Mad.
Yeah.
And Gaines was not too happy with Jack doing magazines because he had he was the one who, he was still there and he was, giving Carmine advice. What happened?
Oh, okay.
So, he was still angry with Simon and Kirby for going with the Comics Code Authority. So he held a grudge.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. So,
and the guys in the production department, Adler and Saul Harrison. They weren't happy either.
No,
they didn't want to do it.
Right.
So it was just one of those, it was an experiment. At least they gave Jack a crack at it, but they just weren't set up for it.
No, right. And I mean, it just seemed like everywhere it went, there was an obstacle or somebody with a bad attitude or something to that
exactly
cause problem for sales. But that's so I'm gonna go back to this some of the slides. So this was the house ad that came out. That was
you can see it's 50 cents. Whoa.
50 cents, yeah.
Get back.
Unusual photo stories.
Make a lot of money at 50 cents.
That's right.
Well, this is 1971, so maybe it's a little more than today.
Right. and this is is this the comp or we scanned
I
this?
think that's the actual.
That's the actual, right?
Cover, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, it ended up like this, right? So it seems, it seems like it's like almost there or something. Oh, the lettering is different on Big Al. I see that. Yeah,
and the Roaring Twenties come alive, and the colors are different.
Yeah,
a lot of little differences, but I think the text.
Yeah.
No, I guess the text was redone too.
Yeah, but
yeah, so the text is redone.
So that was.
It also says in the days of the mob comics, and they got rid of the comics.
Oh wow! Yeah, well, yeah.
Who put this together? Did you, Steve, or Mark?
No, Jack did. No,
Jack did it.
Jack did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, we were going so fast, there was no time. Jack just had to do it himself, send it in. Don't forget, there was no. The only way to get it there was by U.S. Post Office.
Right.
So, he had to make sure that he got it in the mail in time for them to get it.
Yeah.
There's no FedEx. There's no internet.
Yeah. Wow.
And you get a free giant wanted poster. We did that. Mark and I did that.
You did, didn't you?
We did the giant,
So we're
Mark said that he did some of these collages. That wasn't Jack. Is that true? I mean, I think that's what he was mentioning. So he looked at some. I had some original art or something at one point. He goes, "I put that together."
Yeah.
So he did some of it. Yeah.
All right. So then we meet Warden Fry, and we enter this kind of tissue paper magazine with some tones done by the guys in New York, right, Steve? Like the tones,
right?
Jack didn't,
right.
Yeah.
No, Jack didn't do the tones.
Right.
Very, very cheap paper that Browns.
Oh yeah. It was the cheapest paper they could find.
Yeah. And it's Vinny. It's very, very cool spread, right?
I actually saw the original. It's not the original art, right? I've seen the original art before, but we've never archived it.
So it's all about the prison. The prisoners are in prison in hell. And Warden Fry is like like Cain or Abel kind of host for the stories.
Right.
Introduces people. And look, it's Ma Barker again, everybody. I showed the story that Simon and Kirby did in 47 about Ma Barker. Just made the note that was something. It seems that Jack. It's a cool story, It's Ma Barker. Come on, It's unusual.
Do you know if Jack had like research like books or anything like that? Because there was like we'll get to that later.
We'll get to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a book called The Gangs of New York. I think there was some other like encyclopedia of crime, which I couldn't find. But here we have original art that we've scanned for the Ma Barker story. So you can kind of see some Vinny stuff going on. There's some whiteout over here. I feel like one of the sons has been whited out. Here, there's a lot of there's 3 sons, but then we need to solve that problem. But yeah, it's kind of fun for it to not have panel borders, have it be open. It's kind of cool. Yeah. And it basically goes through how everybody dies.
Yeah, the father leaves because they make fun of him and everything, and he's the only nice guy.
Yeah.
And it goes through all the different sons, the Barker sons.
Yeah.
See, what confused me at the time is who's the audience for this? 50-cent comic book, who are you aimed at? You're not aimed at Kirby fans because they want superheroes.
Yep.
And you're not getting adults because at the time, I don't think adults were buying comics.
No.
Certainly not magazines, I mean, this certainly wasn't aimed at 12-year-olds.
No, not at all. Especially the second issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably really the elephant in the room in a way. I mean,
if there was ever any numbers on sales.
Oh, I'm sure there were.
Mm-hmm.
They had to have because they knew how many they printed.
Right.
Then they were offering them for sale in the
in the magazines.
The house ad. They had the house ad in some of the DC comics, right? I'm sorry, I have not been paying attention to our audience here. Sorry, folks. That's
I don't have access. I don't have access.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and so yes, that's right, Ruben. Shelley Winters was Ma Parker and on the Batman show, and Vinny's inks look okay with the added tones. I guess they're kind of all right. I don't know. And hello, AM. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us on Facebook. But yeah, I mean, it just we get they all just see their end. Oh, and the one son Lloyd is a model prisoner, but he gets out and he's gonna straighten up, but he's got a girlfriend with a temper,
and a gun.
Oh, great combination. So that's the end.
So he ends up dead too.
Yeah.
And then Ma gets to see her boys in hell.
Right. In the hell in prison. So
yes.
Then what?
Oh, it's a card game.
The card game. Yeah, we have the card game. Oh, we have a big side by side. So we have this is the original art. Oh, and I wanted to just show how the 2013 edition that was published that John Morrow worked on and DC published. That they took the tones and they printed it in kind of a sepia. So I don't think I use a lot of them, but I figured I would just show it so people would see, that's how that's, and I believe they are published. These stories are published in a Jack Kirby Bronze Age omnibus. I have the cover for that later in the presentation. They probably look like this with the sepia. I don't have that book, so well maybe I do, but I've never looked at it. So we're back to the card game, and then it's just all violence and
showing off a bunch of gangsters. All these names. I don't know who these guys are. I'm sure that they all got a bad history or whatever. But
yeah, we have someone on Facebook asking who is Steve Sherman. Hey, Mark. It's good to see you. But yeah, so we end up heading off into some Al Capone, and it's just a whole story about Al. And it's what is it? The big guys want to take him out. They want to replace him with somebody. He doesn't want to get replaced, obviously. But we have this really sweet spread.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. He decides to throw a party. He knows he's going to get, demoted, but he throws a big party. Guess what happens? There's lots of death, and
basically they were going to assassinate Al Capone or Al, right? And then, they basically killed the assassins before they got to the party.
So when we just see, what is that movie that with De Niro, as where he like kills the guys with the bats? He kills somebody with a bat. Well, maybe that didn't happen, and it was really just the Stooges killed somebody with a bat. It's all about, fun. So, but that's it. So then, we see the warden again. He's like, "All right, Al." And then, and then the warden says, "I'll see you on the other side." Untouchables. Thank you, Ruben. Yeah. I kind of agree with John on this. The audience was probably the same, the creepy, eerie, and Vampirella audience, but maybe it just wasn't as didn't really capture it. So we have the breeding ground where the sounds, reading this, it reads like Jack wrote this, which, just because we have a story from you and Mark coming up, I think, about the florist. Right?
Funeral for a florist.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was.
We actually researched that.
Yeah, I bet. And then the warden's back, and we're gonna look at Pretty Boy Floyd in the Kansas City Massacre, and there's just there's trains and cops. I forget, Tom, you probably have some story? Oh, look at that, rat-a-tat-tat. The great Kirby page. But yeah, it's and of course these cops running out of any redraw there. But it's what is the deal with this again? I read this today and I'm spacing out on the story. Do you remember anything?
I'm trying to remember myself. I read it 2 days ago.
We're moving on. So then the warden takes off. And
they assassinate they try to get their buddy from the car, and then they ended up shooting the car. And that one guy at the top left,
he didn't duck. He got
he's the one that pushed it to shoot. And
right. Thank you. It was this guy. Jelly.
He's dead.
Jelly's dead. The whole point of the whole thing was to get Jelly, and then Jelly didn't protect himself. All right. So then, more. Then there's like records, and here's some comments about Country Boy, who later showed up in like
New Gods.
Yeah.
New Gods, like number 4, I think. Or
yeah. So that's kind of fun. Just that Jack would talk about the MO and how the FBI would catch him, but then he was kind of all right. Let's put him in the New Gods. Country Boy.
What do you think of the Ruben mentioned the Untouchables, that movie?
That's
what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, with De Niro and what's his name, Mr. Whatever. I can't come up with anything. Then we have some fun, some Sergio comics, and inside back cover next issue. So here's it's been worked on, immediately, because there's Mike's inks right there. In the next issue. Ad.
How soon after issue 1 did Jack start working on issue 2? Because Royer didn't start till around 72.
I think as soon as he finished the last of the 4, I think he just went on to it.
Yeah.
And they rejected the other 2.
Because
True Life Divorce and Soul Love.
And then there's the poster, the fantastic Dillinger poster. So there's Jack, and the 2 things that happened after at some point after in the days of the mob one was that Jack got himself a Xerox machine, I think courtesy of Neil.
Neil was working for Canon.
Canon,
so
yeah.
It's a Canon. That was his first copier. It was a Canon that was on that paper that disappears.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The paper was coded.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has
and after that,
cream color.
Then he got a Xerox. Yeah.
And then also this big switch was that Mike Royer.
Young Mike Royer.
So, young Mike Royer. Look at him. And this is like 75 San Diego Comic-Con. So he's even older than he was in like 71 when he was inking the next comic, which is just, Mike's talked about the ink job that he did on this, and it is really something special.
Yeah, I think it's some of Mike's best inks.
It's so good, and yeah. So here's a layout for the cover for number 2. May be posed photo, easily done.
And Steve, you were mentioning that you were set up to I think Barbara Kirby was in it, and your brother was shooting photos.
No, I was shooting the photos. Barbara and my brother Gary were dressed up. Mark was the victim, and Jack was behind him with the gun.
So
we shot that in an empty lot next to Jack's house.
Nice. And this is the version, Tom, that you have where the art is a little more refined, right? Like
that's right.
Yeah.
So this was going to be the end mechanical that he was going to be drawing.
Yeah. And this is your project, Tom, that you've taken on.
Yeah, so
personal project.
Yeah, since I have both of those, I started trying to figure out what Jack might have done with issue 2. So I started putting something together like this. It's not done yet, but I do the collage at the top and everything. But it's the idea that if Jack actually was able to do it, this might be what it could have looked like, kind of thing.
Yeah. And then there's this guy.
Yeah, that's the photo we took.
Yeah,
you can see the hills of Thousand Oaks behind it.
That's right. Yeah.
And let's see, that's my brother, and that's Barbara on the other side.
This is Barbara over here. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And those are all. That's Jack's winter coat from New York. That he had.
Nice.
It's a gun we got at the dime store and painted black.
Nice.
I was thinking about using this photo for the center of
in there
issue number 2. Yeah.
So this is the collage that ended up behind the it says at the top, crime book number 2, index page.
Index page, yeah. So it would have been inside front cover.
Table of contents, inside front cover.
Yeah.
So, and we do have some photocopies of pencils. So and before the script. So it's kind of cool to see. This is just how it was published. We don't have the original art for this page, but there's be some more things like that where we'll compare and contrast the various stages.
So this book is a lot different than the first one. It's much more gory and much more. It's talking about Murder Inc. So it's a very different feel from the first one, which is more kind of like an introduction about the Warren. Now the Warren is just kind of like a side part of it.
Yeah. And that it goes right from this in that great style that Jack developed, where it's like, here's the first page, and then here's the first spread, and it's a spread, like it's like this. Now, this was what John Morrow developed for the book that came out in 2013 with DC. And I remember him calling me and talking to him about it. And he's like, I don't know what to do with that empty hole. Like, Jack was probably going to put a picture in there. He mentions Hitler, maybe in the text here. Maybe it's a picture of Hitler, and it's like, maybe, like, I don't know. So that, I think, again, if you were to get that like the omnibus, or if you were to find a copy of this in the Days of the Mob book, this is what you would see. It's not in sepia tones because they don't have the gray tones, and they didn't want to keep that level of consistency or pay anybody to do that. But then what happened, Tom?
Well, I actually bought the original art, and I had the big blank spot in the middle, and I saw the Hitler thing there, and it just didn't feel like it was the right thing that would go there, because he's talking about these were the killers, and yeah, Hitler was definitely a killer, and all those people were killers, but that's not in context to a mob story. And if you read the words on the right, this is their story, meaning this is not Hitler's story, this is their story. So I went through a bunch of Murder Inc. books and a lot of research online, and then I called the LA library because I figured that that's something that Jack would do. He would probably try to find something, because I also own some collages that have like images, space images from the Griffin Observatory in LA. So I went through their archives and I found an image that I thought made sense. It was an image that was kind of put together by a newspaper company. They took they did a collage of a bunch of different pictures to get all the mobsters lined up in a row.
It's a total like dark room, airbrush, whatever painting thing of these. We actually found all the source images, right? Didn't
we did all the
did.
individual ones? Yes.
Yeah, and they had taken all these images of these guys and created kind of a murderer's row at the LA newspaper.
And that was like in the 30s. Late 30s, I think. So it made sense to me, because all these guys, like the guy with the patch on the eye was in the story. All these guys are in the story. So these were the killers. And it fit perfectly. The aspect ratio, the proportions fit perfectly into that box. So I'd say it's probably an 80% chance that was what Jack was thinking of, maybe more.
It's possible. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
But those were the killers. I mean, they were. Those were them.
It really fits the story, the text here on the lower right a lot better to have pictures of gangsters rather than Nazis. So, yeah. And what a spread! Holy smokes!
Yeah. Oh. Every time I look at it, I see another. When I put it in my hands and I look at it, I see another dead person that's like tortured, man. With the head smacked down between his knees and hands tied up. And it's just really crazy.
Yeah. All right. So this is their story. Murder Incorporated. So here's one of these examples. Now this is goofy because we have the pencil photocopy. So we can see what Jack drew and what Jack gave to Mike. And then we have the original art, but you can see all this shenanigans going on here with whiteout and glue. And this is the first time this story saw print, which was in The Amazing World of DC Comics, number whatever, featuring Jack's best friends, Saul Harrison and Jack Adler, Steve. So they decided that Mike's lettering was no good. So that's why it says edited, written, and drawn by Jack Kirby and inked by Mike Royer, but they completely pasted over all of Mike's lettering. Did a letterer need some work that day? Somebody in the production office? What's the point? Anyhow.
No, they just wanted to screw with it.
Yeah.
Mike told me that he thought that they did that because they didn't like his slanted lettering. They wanted it because it wasn't a DC style. They wanted it vertical, perfectly vertical lettering. So if you lift up, you can see in some cases that the lettering the paste up is gone. You can see Mike's original slightly slanted, and then what they put on top is perfectly straight.
Crazy. That's not the case on this page, but because that's the two versions, right? That's Mike, and then this is.
I don't think so. That's a paste up over Mike's.
Yeah, but look at the. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, that's why it's a different color. It's darker.
Okay.
Because what they did is they used really cheap paper that they pasted over.
Right. All right. So we're gonna move on. So there's Murder Incorporated. Oh, and then John Morrow got Frank Miller to do a version of it for a cover of a magazine. So,
that's cool.
Thought I would throw that in there because that's pretty cool. Good to see you, Bob. Thanks for joining us. It is a great book. All right. So here's they get Kid Twist's girlfriend. They drop her in the fields outside of Brownsville in Brooklyn. She crawls back, and it's just brutal. And then what happens? Meyer did it. I'm gonna kill Meyer. And it's just all kinds of like revenge and murder.
Beautiful art, though. I love the top, the second page, top left.
Amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah.
This guy was like buried alive.
Yeah. So yeah, it's all kinds of like, these two guys are the team. They're moving up in the world.
It's amazing when I look at this because it reminds me so much of a gangster movie, especially like the top right with the shadow of the guy getting shot.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
And
right?
The angle showing the ceiling like that is just like, so cinematic.
Yeah. And then there's this, which is just a fantastic like montage kind of page.
It's showing all the activities of Murder Inc.
Yeah.
Which actually existed for those who don't know. When I first read this, like a long time ago, I thought Jack came up with the idea of Murder Inc. I didn't know that there was a real thing, and it is.
And it was kind of like all about like it's not like pretty blatantly said in the leading up to this, but there were some comments about that they wanted to kill that guy, and the guy that they wanted to kill was Thomas Dewey, who was anti-mob DA in New York City or New York State, and then became the governor and ran for president and almost won against Harry Truman. Famous newspaper, Dewey trounces Truman, because some fake news, back in the day. So the warden shows up, and then what happens?
Then we kind of switch. There's like a period in between kind of thing to get to the ride.
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.
And and then the ride. Yeah, we go to the Poconos. We go for a ride in the Poconos, and
so this is a tactic that the mob used to basically kill somebody. And most of the time, the victim didn't even know it. They just go for a ride, and they end up dead.
Right. And they end up. Look at this great page, great mouth. It's a really great mouth.
They're all laughing.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have like a vaudeville or something show up there in the suburbs.
This was like the guy was hiding in the back seat, so he's like, "I hope Jack heard that one. You hear that one, Jack?" And then Jack pops up and starts stabbing the target. He didn't even know he was there.
And he dies very. It was very hard to kill him.
Yeah. I love this pose of the girlfriend, like in the chair reading the newspaper.
Yeah, legs.
She's like, "What? Where is he?" This is great.
So the reason they were killing him is because he was taking money from the pinball machines. And wasn't that a big thing for gangsters? I read that they used the pinball to make a lot of money.
All the candy stores, they all had pinball machines in New York.
Yeah.
And up and down the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So then we have this. We do have the original art for this as well. So that's.
So they bring out the pinball machine to anchor him down, so he sinks to the bottom.
He doesn't have cement shoes. He's got a pinball machine that holds him down at the bottom of the lake. You can still see evidence of the gluing.
Yeah.
For the other.
See,
lettering.
now that's it. That's his stuff.
There's the angled lettering.
Yeah.
DC has straight up and down lettering. How dare you put a little angle?
What a waste of money.
So yeah. So then
it's weird because all this stuff is angled text.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. And then we get to I guess we have the ladies of the mob. Just interesting that Jack had this bit up here when it got photocopied. The face of violent death didn't end up in the final. It happens. But this is actually the yes, friends, despite the pouts and moans from women's libs when Murder Incorporated aimed for blood and guts, there were ladies there. Okay, Jack. Look at this. Holy smokes.
It's beautiful, Splash.
Just great. Oh, we have the art too. Again, you can see some paste up lettering action.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. The decent kid. Well, the poor decent kid. This one I had to include this one just because I love the way that Jack drew and Mike inked that woman's bathing suit.
Why?
I just love it. It's so Mike. It's just great. It's like, the way he did the blacks with the lines
open
rather
blacks,
than filling it in. Yeah, it's just it's like just great Mike stuff.
And you notice, like in the last panel, how he always adds to it, like the shapes,
the shape,
the background, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny because they didn't credit him as a letterer, but there's a lot of places where they didn't paste over his lettering.
So yeah, who is this? Mrs. Tootsie.
Tootsie, yeah.
Yeah, her husband gets murdered, but she starts, having fun with everybody else.
She's the lady of the mob.
That's right.
It's great stuff.
And then there's Evelyn, the kiss of death girl.
Yeah.
So beautiful. If you kiss her, guess what? Somebody else is gonna want her, and then they'll kill you. Then there's the decent kid. She's just
this is the saddest one.
This is the worst one. Yeah, this is like basically a gang rape down here, as far as I can tell, or brutality, incredibly brutal.
They did things to
Oh, sorry, I can go back.
Yeah, no, they did things to the decent kid of a brutal and chromatic nature.
Yeah. Hold her down. Yeah.
You'll notice this second issue is much more adult than the first one.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Incredible. Yeah.
And I love
I think
this
Jack
bottom panel.
Push the envelope here.
Yeah, definitely. I was saying before this, it's like I wonder if this could ever even be published nowadays. I mean, well, it was in 2013, but I mean, it just seems so risky now compared to back then. Maybe, I don't know. This girl, sure this woman in the bottom.
Carmine and the rest of
What's that?
I say, I'm sure Carmine and the rest of them saw this issue with just like plots.
Yeah, they blanched.
They
Yeah,
couldn't print it.
no, yeah, I could see that. Well, then we have the Room for Kid Twist story, and this is the original art. And John was trying to figure out what to do. So when it got published, he just kind of used the collage from the
index page,
the inside front cover. It was kind of hard. I mean, I guess based on the story, what Jack wrote, it was probably a prison photo of some sort.
He was like he was out of prison, and he was like put into this room because for observation and stuff.
Yeah.
He was going to rat on all the other gangsters.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know what kind of image would be there.
And the end for Murder Inc. Incorporated came when Law jammed some prize canaries into the Half Moon Hotel. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Again, I just love the Mike's inking on this page, so I included the pencils just so we could see.
God, there's so much stuff he added to the first panel, and so what's the name of the guy?
Kid Twist.
Kid Twist, yeah. So he's like held up in a hotel room, being watched because he's going to be ratting out all the gangsters, and so this Kid Twist is just like a pain in the butt kind of guy. So he does all these pranks, like calling up.
Right. He calls up the guy on his honeymoon. Yeah.
On his honeymoon, right? At 4:00 in the morning.
Yeah. He's just a total asshole.
Starts his butt on fire with a match, and
yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. Who brought that knife in here? Get that knife away from him. And then something happens.
Yeah.
And Kid Twist, he sails out the window.
Yep. With a bed sheet.
With a bed sheet, and then
in that last panel, the warden, he looks like the devil. I mean,
he looks like got that skull action.
Actually, the Red Skull, kind of.
Yeah, that's true. So that was the end of Kid Twist, and that was 1941.
Yeah.
So pretty much it ends by saying that basically the whole era of the gangsters was coming to an end.
Right. It's a comedy piece.
I was trying to figure out if I know Jack drew it, but like the first panel at the top with the Model T, it just doesn't. I don't know who inked that, but it doesn't look like. Maybe it was Jack's pencils, but it looks different than the rest of the page.
We actually have the photocopy of the pencils.
Oh, you do? Oh, we do? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, the inking doesn't look.
No, I know. I see kind of what you're talking about. It does look different. The inking on that Model T, yeah. Comedy.
I think somebody else inked that whole thing anyway, besides that part. But it doesn't look like Mike either, to a certain extent.
So thanks to the Richard Kolkman, John Morrow, Jack Kirby checklist, I noted that he noted that there were some photos of Jack drawing a gangster in one issue. So I pulled it out at a chalk talk at San Diego. Thought that was fun. And here's the coming attractions for issue 3. Also in a Kirby collector. So,
do you remember Jack talking about in issue 3, Steve?
No, I don't. Mark might remember, but I don't.
So,
No, because as soon as those first issues came out, it was just like dead. We just
Yeah.
forgot about it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's right. It was inked and lettered by John Costanza. That's
thanks.
absolutely true. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
I don't know where this guy comes from. He's just trouble.
Don't listen to him.
I'm turning. I'm taking his comment off the screen quickly. But yeah. So that's the world of the in the days of the mob. I don't even know what's coming up. Oh, so here's the cover of the 2013 or 2012 edition. If you can find it, it's a cool thing to have. And those stories, as you can see here in the days of the mob, they are, and Spirit World are included in this Bronze Age omnibus. It's like a book that's this thick,
Right? Yeah.
Filled with all those wonders: the Losers, Atlas, Sandman, Omak, Demon, and Cobra. So
I think we've done
What a great
podcasts on
character.
almost
Bruce
all of
Simon
those,
will tell
not
you.
all of them.
what, Cobra?
Oh yeah, Bruce Simon will tell you what a great character it is.
Okay. And then what? All right, and that is the show in a way. I've got some, some blah 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 promotional ending thingamajigs that I could go through, but it's been great having you here, Steve.
Sure, good to see you. I can't wait to see you next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully at a convention.
Yeah, I know. Come to the booth. bring the puppet, please. More pins.
Oh God. Hang on.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right.
Who's that?
The dog.
What's his name?
He doesn't have one yet. So, anybody have any questions?
Yeah. Any questions at all from the peanut gallery or our audience out there? Welcome to. Yes, we will see you at Comic Fest. Hopefully, even. Yeah. Comic Fest was really that was nice. That was the last show I went to, right?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
like
I think
in
that was in March, right?
February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Beginning of March. It was the beginning of first week of March, I think.
We were kind of like just at the point of like not shaking hands.
No, and
right.
And everybody was being very careful and everything.
Yeah.
But because it was just starting. And actually, while we were there, they had the first case, I think, in Orange County. While we were there, 2 cases, I think.
Ruben on Facebook is asking about what was going on at the time that the mob stories were as far as Jack's drawings. He
was working on New Gods, Forever People, Jimmy Olsen, and Mr. Miracle.
Yeah, so it was right in the middle of the fourth world was going, and he was doing it.
Yeah.
Not
because he was really trying to push.
Right.
He was trying to do as much as he could.
Yeah.
To try and get out of 10, 12 cent, 20 cent comics.
Yeah. That was. There was Carmine. It seemed like Carmine was into it, but like.
He was at first.
He was, right?
And then he got sidetracked with other things.
Yeah.
Then he got really into the Superman movie. That took all of his interest away.
Right. Yeah. Right. That makes
sense. Was it
Jack
Jack's idea to do these books to begin with? You said that he was trying to get away from 20-cent comics.
Yeah, it was his idea.
Okay.
And the distributor was for it. I think, what was the guy's name? I can't remember, but he was the head of DC's distribution.
Not Donenfeld.
No. This is another guy.
Okay. But and it just didn't happen. So, oh, that's right. Ruben also mentions that there was Chicagoland stuff in Commandy, which I forgot about. I would have put that. I should have put that in this, just to yes, there was another more gangster.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Jack never wasted anything.
That's right. That's right.
Find a way to use it again, he'd do it.
Yeah.
Just change it around a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he have like a big library of reference books and things that he, like, for instance, all the mob stuff? Did he have like that book from Murder Inc. and other references? All this stuff just came out of his head.
Yeah, because he, back when he was growing up, it was in the papers. Sure. 1930 to 1940, it was the news.
Yeah.
So he'd read it all. He memorized it all. So no, he had some research books, but not like what you would think, a lot. And he didn't have time to research anyway. Once he sat down and started working, it was just, straight through.
Yeah.
So, no, not a lot of research. Maybe for a picture of a car or a train, something that he just need to refresh his memory. But other than that, no.
Wow.
Yeah, he really had that gangster stuff, right? Pretty right there in his head, ready to go. It seems.
Yeah, because he'd seen all the movies.
Yeah,
all the movies were in his head, so he saw all of those.
Yeah.
So he could just off the top of his head tell you the story. You ask him, and he'll tell you, "Oh, Kid Twist. Oh yeah, he got thrown out of the window." Because this was Jack's neighborhood. It happened in his neighborhood.
Yep.
So he knew all the places. He knew he could draw it with his eyes closed.
It's amazing.
No, Black Magic was 15 years before.
Yeah, Black Magic was in the 50s, and then at some point, I guess Joe Simon came back to National DC and started doing some editing. Right. So that's when he pulled together a package of Black Magic.
Yeah, reprints, I think.
Yeah. It was all reprints, and not just reprints, but like, let's update that lady's hairdo to make it more amenable to the audience of the 1970s, as I recall. So.
Yeah. Well, they did that with the romance comics too. They took old romance comics and redid the dresses and the hair. Yeah. Which was a hell of a lot more trouble than to just redraw
it. Yeah, it seems. Well, cool.
Tom, you wanted to ask something?
Well, I was going to say, did Jack get compensated for reprints back then of like Black Magic when DC didn't? No.
I would doubt it. I would doubt it.
Let's see what is.
Why didn't they just do one magazine with different subject? Because they wanted to put out 4 at a time.
Yeah.
They wanted another one of Jack's ideas to blitzkrieg the newsstand. So you had 4 coming boom, boom, boom. So once you bought one, you'd want the next one and the next one and the next one. And they would just, keep following. But, the distribution was just awful. Just awful.
Yeah.
So they never got out there.
Yeah. Well, I can share that we're going to be talking about the spirit world next week. So that'll be interesting. John Morrow is going to join us, and I don't know. We'll find out. What go through pretty much the same scenario. Just kind of going through the stories and looking at art, commenting on stuff. Talk about, there'll be like a Black Magic, slide at the beginning or something like that, So that'll be cool. Oh yeah, what do we got? Well, yeah, distribution
Bruce says
yeah.
you can get Days of the Mob from Hamilton Books for $14.95.
Oh, great.
Plus tax.
Oh, that's a great price, because Amazon, it's not great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, it's like $60.
It's like
crazy amount of money.
It's a real lot. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was even gonna like share like a link to our affiliate bookshop.org site, but for the omnibus, but it's like back ordered. So like, what's the point? So thanks, Bruce. Yeah, so we'll be talking about Spirit World next week.
My mom's on the cover of that. No, not on the cover. She's on the inside front cover.
She's on the inside, yeah.
The inside. Yeah.
Yeah, I own that spread. It's the one where she's driving the car, right?
Yeah, I shot that in our driveway for the back.
So you were the photographer of the group.
Yeah. I wonder what happened to that one I shot. I shot one for the divorce book, which I gave Jack the proofs and the proof sheet and the negatives. Never saw it again.
Do you remember what it was? Just like,
yeah, it was this hot redhead in a bikini, having a fight with her boyfriend.
Wow.
Where was that going to go?
I think it was going to go in the divorce book.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think the second or maybe the first. I don't know.
Did he start on a second book for the divorce?
I don't remember. I don't know. He might have.
Well, yeah, because I think I own a story of the pencils that were never inked, partially inked by. Oh, that was the first story, partially inked by Vince Coletta.
Yeah. I think they can't. I think they pulled the rug. Fine. When Jack was just starting probably the second issue of those, and they just said,
"Hi, Mike. Great inking. I don't know how long you've been listening, but we've been saying how wonderful in the Days of the Mob #2 was inked by you."
Hi, Mike.
That's true. Hey, Mike.
Some of your best work, without a doubt.
And in 3 weeks, we're going to look at the books that didn't come out. Soul Divorce. What the heart wants, the soul denies. I came up with that line. I don't know what it means.
Written and drawn by all white men.
Yeah, exactly.
There's so much white out on that. It's just incredible. Vince Coletta inked a lot of the stories, and the lips were all whited out and made big. Everything was just like a mess in the original art.
Chuck, the second issue was in a book that you can get at Hamilton Books right now for $15, and there's also a DC omnibus that you can get. So yes, we did just talk about that recently, but that's okay. Oh, and Mike has been with us the whole time. Thank you, Mike. We'll have you on again. Yeah. All right. Well.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll I'm gonna head off into the farewell section. Let's see how I do that. So we've got a whole bunch of live streams available on YouTube. We did our Fourth World Summer. We celebrated bicentennial battles on the 4th of July. We did a special visit with Mike Royer, which was really fun. We did a Jack Kirby 101 for San Diego at home. We're going to be working up another San Diego at home. That was with Mark Evanier and John Morrow. We did 26 hours of shows for Jack's birthday last year.
And we're still recovering from that.
We're still recovering. Steve joined us. A whole bunch of people joined us. We really had a great time, and we thank everybody for celebrating Jack Kirby with us in that way. And if we ever do anything like that again,
we got to have bathroom breaks.
We have to have bathroom breaks and lunch breaks. Somebody needs to learn how to do these things. We did a month of the Demon back in October. That was really fun. We covered OMAC in December. Amazing. And the thing we did before this one was we did first issue special with Bruce Simon's favorite character, Cobra.
What a book.
And yeah, that was fun though, because we did the Dingbats and we did the all the Dingbat stories. We did and we did Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter, and Justice Incorporated.
All of these books were not written by Jack Kirby. They were written by
those two were not written by Jack.
Yeah, and it shows.
So check out our YouTube channel. What do they say? Click follow and then click the bell so that you get announcements that we're doing things, because we like to have our audience with us live. So you can make comments on the videos when we're not live, and we might respond. But it's better when you're here when we're live. And where do we go? You can become a member of the Jack Kirby Museum. Go to our website, kirbymuseum.org. Your ongoing support helps us pay the bills. We have bills. We have an archive space. Yep. We have all kinds of things that
servers. We have storage.
Yep. And speaking of paying the bills, we do. If you go to our website, there is a gift shop. You can buy shirts, pins, etc. So check out our gift shop. Just like a real museum with a gift shop, because we are a real museum, except we're virtual. Okay. Well, and that I guess that's it. Thanks, Steve. Really appreciate you joining us.
Bye, guys.
It's really fun.
You.
And
Great
we'll do it again, I hope. And take care.
Yep.
Take care, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.